Hello, hello. It has been a while. How are you guys doing? Feels like forever. I think it's been a month. Um, but yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of dropped frames, which is a nice kind of present to come back to. But nah, we'll make do. Yes, Doug, I'm very happy to see you. I'm very happy to see you guys too. How was Japan? Japan was great. I loved it. It was very hot, which I mean we knew going into summer. But yeah, the waifu was struggling a lot. Me, I was fine, but obviously would have been nicer to have it a little bit cooler. But I loved it. I love Japan. It's so cool. Sounds good. Very nice. Very nice. Nice holiday. Yeah. I enjoyed it. The food, the food, man. Like it's the one thing I think. If you're going to Japan, everything's nice, but the food's just 10 out of 10. Look who's come crawling back. Yes, it's me. It's me. I'm back. How long ago did we start? A minute ago. I was a little bit late. Don't need that. So a lot of sushi. I actually only had sushi once, but I had a lot of everything else. I'm not the biggest sushi guy. I'm not gonna lie. I find cooked food much more interesting, but to each their own. Everyone's like, oh, 10 out of 10 because it's sushi. No. Uh, I mean, there's so much better food than sushi in Japan, in my opinion. So yeah, before we properly start, big shout out to Woo. Really appreciate their support. I'm surprised they haven't dropped us yet. We just keep disappearing. But we'll take it. We'll take it. Much love. Give them some love back by clicking the links in the description or not, also fine. But yeah, big shout out. Appreciate the Woo support, especially given our schedule has been atrocious. But yeah, Bitcoin still looks like garbage. No, it could be better, could be worse. Overall, better rather than worse, I would say. Where's Cred? Dude, don't ask me. Like, he's been ghosting me for like I was back on Saturday this weekend, and I was like, hey, let's do like a casual Sunday. He didn't respond. Then I was like, well, I'm back. Might as well do the newsletter on Tuesday. What about it? Didn't respond. Yeah, I do not know. I mean, he's around. He's just doesn't want to hang out with us, apparently. It's just how it is. I can't do anything about it. Um, but yeah, let's go through the markets real quick, and then we can see what's up. So it's been a while, so we can do this together. I actually haven't really looked at the market since I've returned. I just like I don't know, doesn't really seem like worth spending too much time on it. But the monthly time frame still the fucking same. It's the last 6 7 months all the same. Um, but yeah, held support, had a proper washout this time. Almost went to the lower support. Closed back at support, and now we're kind of like just chopping. So like overall, that's a bullish chart. I would prefer, honestly, if it started moving up, because if this kind of like meanders back like down, like if we have like another 2 or 3 months of chop now, it actually starts looking like not so great in my opinion. because we had the washout, right? Like whenever you have like a support that's undercut, like you have a range or whatever, doesn't really matter. You go in here and you undercut the range and you come back up. And that's essentially what we did with this wick. And the reason why I have been saying, and I still maintain that view, that this wasn't enough was just because it was too shallow, right? Like when you have like a break, it has to be quite aggressive. Last month, as in August, was aggressive. And that's kind of like that structure. But if you then start like falling back lower, that starts looking really, really bad, right? So kind of have to have a bunch of green months coming now. But so far, support's still holding, right? So this is a time frame that's kind of on the more bullish side of things. The weekly time frame, as you can see, kind of in a downtrend. And so you have a high here, low here, lower high, lower low, lower high again. This one I just added because like when we were trading up here, I was like, oh, maybe that's the next lower high. But at the end of the day, like we made a new lower low here. And now technically speaking, we haven't broken any highs, right? This might be the first ones, but even if we break these, it's not really too significant because the 70K area is the more significant area. So the weekly time frame, we are at resistance, but we've tested that resistance before, right? So if it truly wanted to fuck off, could have done so like 4 weeks ago. It didn't, and now we're back in that area. So like I generally think like that's also like better than it could, like better than it should be, given like market structure is bearish. But we are at resistance that we've tested before, and the bears really haven't kind of accelerated this whole thing. So, are you the average spot and chill trader now? I've always been. I always have been. Someone shit talking, runner. Like you guys need to chill. Don't take everything so seriously. Run as a Chad. So we held the monthly level as we approach historically great month October, and you're on Giga Bullish. Yeah, the whole historically good month, bad month, whatever. People were like, it's a historically terrible month last month, or like this month, September being historically terrible, and then it's a green month. Like I don't know, don't really care too much about historical price action. Care about how the market looks right now, not how it looked 5 years ago. But yeah, not too bad. It's the weekly is not great. Like this is not great yet, given this is a downtrend and given we haven't really done anything other than trending down. But the monthly is good, and I would say like the weekly, given we are back at this resistance level for the second time, it's better than it could be. And then we have the daily time frame, and that's actually decent. We ran back above 61K, which is the lower time frame area of interest for me. Like that's an interesting kind of pivot. I generally think 58K is kind of the line in the sand. You start losing that, it starts looking really shitty again. And other than that, it's just chop, right? And given the daily uptrend that we've had here, chop is actually quite decent, right? So basically been going up non-stop, been going sideways since. So yeah, nothing's really happened. Like I left and I came back and it's the exact same situation as when I left. Like it doesn't really feel like the market has, I mean, it hasn't moved. Like price is exactly the same or like a little bit higher. On Bitcoin, same on ETH, actually a little bit higher on ETH as well. But like nothing's really happened, and yeah, doesn't really look like it wants to move too much, but it has to. So we'll see. So numbers go up or not? I mean, I'm hoping so. I'm in Team Bull for now. Fingers crossed. Like the whole TradFi situation still has me spooked, and it's really hard. It's really hard to make a call on the TradFi situation. Like, just generally feels so odd. But I'll just ignore it. It's not my area of expertise. But like that's the TradFi thing has me more spooked than the crypto stuff. Um, 58k, otherwise shitty again. It's interesting. A lot of CT people are calling for big flush, 48k before big continuation. Wouldn't make much sense to me given the big flush we already have. I agree. Like, I don't know why people like. If that is the case, and I don't know, I don't really see the point. But like, I think if we broke down, this would just kind of be like a market failure of sorts, and then we would have to have like something akin to this again. So if we broke down here, I think we'd have to go sideways for a bunch and then maybe come back up, but people are expecting this and then just instant up. At this point, like I was expecting like this before, but given we got strength, I was like, I'm not expecting this anymore. And now that we've built even more of an area, like an area of support here, and just kind of like consolidated a bunch, I don't see the point. Like we've already washed out. Like if we wash out again, it's because the market is weak, not because the market is strong. But yeah. Hey Don, did you watch climbing at the Olympics? I actually didn't. I've not really been climbing too much lately. It's just been focused with other things. Hi Don, I've missed you. I missed you too, man. You in particular, Adam. Missed you deeply in my heart. Obviously everyone else too, but Adam especially. If we reject 65k, are you looking to buy? I mean, I already bought. So if we get rejected, I would look to sell. But yeah, for now, looks okay. Let's go over ETH. ETH USD set support. Kind of not really doing anything, but that's okay, given how this looks. Like we had prior all-time high acted as support, and then prior all-time high range acting as support. Like that's okay, right? Like it's not the best, but that's not a bad chart, just on its own. Trouble starts when we look at ETH BTC, where that's clearly a bad chart. It is it got really, really close to where I really like it, but it's generally in an area where it starts getting more interesting. Anything in here on the ratio seems kind of decent to me, like prior highs before we had that expansion. But it's still ETH, right? And ETH's been cucked, so you gotta be humble on the ETH front, as in basically you don't want to all in ETH. It's been underperforming Bitcoin massively. It's really not underperformed much else besides Solana. It's just generally altcoins been underperforming. But still, yeah, this is a clear downtrend. Been getting completely wrecked. And so far, and it's the worst part about it, is that it hasn't really washed out. So you're kind of like in this situation where I think, and I feel like just generally like this is a good area, but the market hasn't really shown too much of an interest on the high time frames. On the lower time frames, as in the weekly and on the daily, there's also not really that much action, right? Like there's really nothing too interesting on the ETH-BTC chart. The ETH-USD chart is decent, right? Like you look at on ETH-BTC, like the monthly, meh, but it's actually finally in an area of support. Weekly is meh, if not just terrible. And then the daily is kind of like whatever. It's not that great. And then you look at ETH-USD, and monthly looks okay. The weekly is fine. We're kind of trading in an area of support-ish. So we had this area here. That was resistance before we broke out. And now we kind of like, we used to that support, broke down, but that breakdown didn't really stick, and now we're back here, right? So that's not too bad. Could start kind of putting in like an inverse head and shoulders, ugly, shitty pattern. But just generally this an area of support, right? So on the weekly, decent, on the monthly, good, and on the daily, just a nothing burger again. So a little bit frustrating, could be better, I think, especially given I have a little bit of ETH. But as long as it's not underperforming on or as long as it's not getting wrecked on the USD basis, I don't really care too much. Are there any possible trades right now for you? We'll find out. I haven't really looked at the charts too much. There's a lot of things to do. I mean, we left for 3 to 4 weeks ish. So the garden's a mess, and just generally a lot of things to do. Life's busy lately, so I haven't really looked, but we're gonna do that now. How bullish is 60? Is reclaim of 65k, or do you need 70k to flip bullish? I mean, I'm bullish right now. I don't know. I mean, I've been bullish since 58k. I was like, this is it. This is gonna be good here, and then it went up, and then I went on vacation when it went back down, and I kind of came back at 63. Right. So far so good. But yeah, if anything, I'd have to I'd flip bearish. I'd start being cautious below 61.5, and start flipping bearish below 58. Did you remove your stop loss before your holiday? Yes. I mean, I'm not gonna go and have no access and then just have stop losses. Not how it works. It's not how I do things. I generally usually have an area that I don't want to, for example, if I'm saying hey, I really don't want to see 58k fail here, right? It's not like it goes here and then goes here and I'm stopped out. What instead happens is that I'm we're trading below, start closing below. I'm okay, I'm invalidated. Let me see how I can get out of this trade the best way possible. But given this hasn't really moved, and this volatility's been there, didn't really matter. And it's not like I'm leveraged to tits. Worst case, it can always turn. And this is my favorite kind of thing to do. I've done this a couple times now in my career, where if I buy, then this is a good thing about being bullish, right? Where I buy and then I'm this is kind of going shitty, but I still think it's gonna go up. And I'm okay, I'm just gonna turn this into a spot trade, and then I do, and then I'm just holding. Hi Dawn, I've heard you say that gold is stupid and Bitcoin is a better version of it. Does it mean that away from the charts, you believe in seeing Bitcoin at 1 million or so in the next 10 years? Thanks. I don't see Bitcoin at 10 million, at 1 million. But I do think it's gonna eat gold eventually. In the long run, in the next 100 years maybe. Wait, Dawn, wasn't it ETH you bought before you left? I bought both Bitcoin and ETH. Is this your final trade or still looking for something special? It's not a big one. Like, it's not a big trade, so it's not really the one that I want, but we'll see how it goes. How's the little one? Good. She's kicking. But yeah, so ETH, pretty boring. There's nothing really to talk about too much. Like, it's not bad. Like, anyone that shit talks ETH in this spot, I don't really get it because the chart is not that bad. But also anyone that's like hyping it too much, besides sarcastic remarks, don't really get it either. It's like a mediocre chart. There's not really that much there. I have it because I kind of feel like it should go up, but it's a pretty bad reason to have it, to be fair. Maybe I'll have to look into it, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like ETH is underappreciated right now, and like I think the hate's way out of proportion. I think people are just mad that they missed most of the bull run being stuck in ETH. And to be fair, like, I mean, I get it, right? But given I've not really been interested in ETH for the longest time, right? And I hadn't had to sit through years and years of shit price action. I've just kind of been involved in this area. Kind of been involved in this area where it's like, who cares, right? But yeah, I see a lot of hate for ETH, and I think it's basically a bunch of prior bag holders just being really upset. Are you still bearish memes? Somewhat. I mean, there's a few left, right? Like, a lot of them just kind of went to zero. The big ones still around. Like, Pepe is like down 50% from all-time high. Wif's down like 60. But I'm not as bearish as I was before. I mean, I was shorting this stuff, and now I'm not anymore. So I'm not as bearish on memes anymore. That said, like, kind of my argument was that 90%, 99% of the memes would die out, and I think like that's been proven to be correct. Just like everything died besides the big ones, right? Like Pepe with, like, there's like a handful of coins that are still around, like the memes, and most of the stuff that people have been talking about is just dead, right? Like, I haven't looked at it, but like, yeah, I mean, so that's down 90% and then 90% again and then 60%. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm talking about. There's obviously always going to be outliers, and the big ones, like Doge, for example, is also a meme, right? And it didn't go down 90%. So like the big ones usually take much longer to play out, but the small ones and like the 10th iteration of whatever garbage like pretty much died out after I made that post. And yeah, there might obviously, there will be new ones that come up and that get hyped and whatever, but they're gonna go through the same cycle. You're literally buying something that's useless and that's worthless at the end of the day. It's a lottery ticket, which is fair enough, right? Just buy it when it's actually a lottery ticket and not just guaranteed loss of money. Like when something's up like 1000x and the entire market is overheated, it's probably a bad lottery ticket. Might be a better lottery ticket now than it was like a couple of months ago, but it's still a pretty shitty lottery ticket, I think. Can you look at Doge? I mean, Doge is just boring. We did talk about like the 0.1 support, and that's been holding, right? Like we talked about it when we're trading like at 0.2. I was like at 0.1 I could see myself rebuy it. And I mean, I'm not hating too much anymore on Dogecoin. Kind of feels like it's gone through the worst of it, but yeah, I don't know, 0.1 still seems like a decent level. Like betting on the market kind of returning up at 0.1 and then just cutting if it loses 0.1 kind of seems decent enough. It's not the worst. Just like maybe you're gonna be stuck in a coin that goes sideways for 3, 4, 5 years. And it's a meme coin. Like the problem with Doge is like it's never gonna. I mean, it's gonna stick around, right? But it's gonna lose more and more relevance with every year. So, like if you're buying something that might be something decent, you at least have the backdrop of buying something decent, right? With those, you actually just have to time it right. And that's harder to do than buying something that's decent because like let's say you buy, and it's the cool thing about like Bitcoin, like there's a handful of other coins, like you buy Bitcoin, right? And you completely missed the timing and you bought at 15K. Like Bitcoin went to 20K in 2017 and you bought at 15K. You just need to hold a little bit and you're going to be fine in the long run, right? Like if you bought Dogecoin at 0.7, there's a quite high chance that you're never going to be break even, right? And even if you get break even, the entire crypto market is probably 100x higher than where it used to be. And that's the big difference, right? But if you time, like if you're really good at timing and you buy Dogecoin before it goes like 5x, then that's obviously the better place to look. So like it really depends. If you're good at timing in Bitcoin, you can also make a bunch of money. But the cool part about it is more so that like you don't really have to worry about it too much because it's gonna go higher, just generally, like more likely than not. But with stuff like WIF and Doge and whatever, you just have to be really good at timing it. And if you're shit at timing it, you're gonna lose money. Do you think US politics election craziness will affect price? I mean, yeah, short term. It's not gonna change where the market is headed anyway. Like people are so funny to me. Like we had that whole like when gas prices went up in the US, right? And I'll just use the US as an example because I mean it's just the easiest. Everyone knows it. But like we had gas prices go up in the US, and then like a bunch of like Trump supporters were like, "Thank you, Biden. You're ruining America, whatever." As if that is his fault, right? Like it's mostly the market just doing the market things. And then the same is true like on the left now, where like oil prices in the US are much cheaper now than they were before. And then people are like, oh, Biden's doing so good, whatever. And it's like, dude, it's like people need to shut up about markets. They don't know what the fuck's going on, right? Like the same with like the crypto people now when they're like, the entire crypto market is gonna go to zero if Harris becomes president. It's like it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? Like if Trump becomes president, that might be short term better for crypto, but it's not gonna change anything in the long run, right? But people are always just kind of like stuck in these like, oh yeah, this politician has caused this, whatever. It's the same with the S&P going up and down, right? Like when you think back where we had the COVID crash and the left made like was like, oh, Trump is such an idiot. Like the market's down, whatever. And then the market recovered again and everyone's like, oh, this is because of the policies, whatever. I mean, to a small extent maybe, but it's just the market is kind of a thing of its own now. Like we've seen countries try to rein in markets, and you've seen how hilariously it's failed, right? Like like there's the Japanese yen versus the dollar, right? And there's been so much effort being put into kind of like fixing this thing, and it's just not working. Like, and you're like, oh, it's this and that politician. Nah, it's just the market doing market things. Obviously, like high time frame, like if a country goes a completely different policy and everything, that changes things. But like the low time frame decisions don't do much. They just move the market low time frame. That's my opinion anyway. At least like people need to stop with this. It's the same with like with inflation and all that kind of stuff. There's bigger factors at play. Solana, doing all right, honestly, like not too bad. I don't really like, I really dislike the chart, the Sol BTC chart, like when we're trading here. I'm not hating too much anymore. Just, I mean, it's ranging and it could be much worse. Like we've had this pretty much like Bitcoin, like we had an up move and now we have sideways. It's even more constructive sideways than Bitcoin has on the Bitcoin pair. So not that bad. If it starts losing the range, then it starts being bad, but it hasn't. So not bad. And on the USD front, it's kind of clinging on for dear life at that like 120 level. Could even argue like down here, but just generally, that's the wrong thing. Generally, lower time frame, it's been 125. And as long as that holds, kind of okay. Like I don't hate the chart. Could be much worse. Much better than almost all other altcoins. Sol had every chance to lose the weekly range low and did not. Yeah, I think generally, like for Sol, the only thing that can really take it out now is if the market completely and utterly dies, right? And then you're fucked either way. So Solana's kind of like weathered the storm. Unless just the entire ship sinks, right? Like if Bitcoin crashes to 40k, Solana's gonna be shit out of luck, and then it's gonna look really, really bad really fast because you lose 120, and then there's like, there goes the range, and if the range goes, you'd expect a big nuke. But yeah, it's a good decent chart. Just seeing that I'm having a bunch of drop frames. Rip. So yeah, that's Solana, and then everything else is kind of boring, right? Like we talked about Doge, we looked at we talked about Doge, we looked at Solana. Even Solana is boring, right? And then you go to like Uni, boring, bunch of boring stuff. Aave is one of the ones that we kept mentioning on the show. And it's been one of the few altcoins that's just been consistently outperforming. Obviously, I don't have any, but that's been kind of nice. It's kind of cool because the one coin that I kept mentioning is something that fundamentally kind of is not bad. So I'm happy to see it outperform even if I don't have any. Probably not going to buy any either. Not really. I don't know, crypto, like anything beyond Bitcoin and ETH right now bores the shit out of me. I don't know if that's just me or not. Probably complacent about just the market not having moved, but I'm just kind of bored of it. Someone mentioned Sui. I mean, yeah, that moved quite nicely. Had a nice breakout. Moved up a bunch. So yeah, I think for Sui, like if you're looking for a pullback, this is the area. Doesn't mean you're gonna get it, but if you're looking for a decent entry, like that'd be one. Like somewhere down here, and then aim for new highs, I'm guessing. But yeah, like these kind of charts, it's just like, I know that there's a bunch of people that have been getting, or like I think I saw like a little bit of a controversy about Sui that paying like influencers and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I haven't been around in a while. But the funny thing is right now, and this is crypto, like in crypto as a whole, the only people that are moving this market are influencers, right? Like the only thing, and it's funny because I see a bunch of influencers basically be like, hey, I'm the greatest trader alive, the market's shopping, but my coins keep going up. And it's like, the reason why these coins go up is because you talk about them, right? Because the entire market is so dead that the moment something's talked about, like it actually starts moving. And it's kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You talk about something publicly, and it's gonna move because the market's so dead. How is being a father treating you? It's nice. It's exhausting, but it's nice. Like the vacation was. I mean, I knew that my wife was like, "Oh, you can take vacations with a child. It's the exact same as without." And I was like, "You're gonna, you're gonna learn, my dear. You're gonna learn when we're on vacation." And then, yeah, jet lag, baby, not that fun, and just generally like, it's something else. But I love her very much, and it's kind of nice seeing someone, like just generally seeing someone grow up near you. Like it's good for the soul. Gives you pleasure for like the simple things again. Like stuff is funny that you would not have thought is funny, but it just is. It's nice. And a little bit of a teaser. I mean, there's the second one coming even. So I'm gonna have the double the fun, but it's still very very early. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll have another one. Congrats, thanks, appreciate it. So more sleepless nights for me. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how the stream schedule survives. Oh, it's been bad enough, huh? With one. We'll see what we can do. Maybe I can teach the older one, and she's gonna stream while I take care of the younger one. We'll see. You mean you're third after us? Yes, of course. No, that means Don is out. No, I mean, if anything, like I'm stuck home now. Like it's not like we can really move. With a pregnant wife and a toddler in the house, so child labor ain't allowed in Germany, Don. Yeah, but no one needs to know, no. And also, this show is only for entertainment purposes. So you guys, like, chill out. Like this is not financial advice. This is entertainment only. But yeah, I'm kind of in this weird. This is the cursed line. We'll remove it. I'm in this weird thing where I'm like, it feels like the market should have broken down, but it didn't. But it also feels like the market really should have broken up, and it didn't. So like we're in this weird twilight zone where I'm just gonna ignore price action until it actually like does something significant, right? And I think just generally, people have been like, oh, if it goes above 70K, are you gonna then be super giga bullish? And honestly, with how the market is trading and how everything is going, I would be, and I mean, I hate to say this, right? But I wouldn't be shocked. And I think I would probably sell a bunch. I could just see this happen. I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously, I could even see something like this happen. And then literally just, and then we're back at 60. So I gotta disappoint, but I'm like with the market and how it is right now, unless the S&P goes on a giga run, I think there's a good chance we'd actually just fall back in the range if we broke out. But we'll see once we get there. Welcome back. Hope you had a great vacation. I did, man. I did. How are you guys doing? You guys, how are you doing? So used to the stuff I say, and so tired, man. I'm like the return. It was like I don't really get jet lags. I don't know about you guys, but I like, given my teaching history in crypto, right? I deal so well with jet lag. I just arrive and I look at the time and I'm like, I should sleep now and then sleep for like an hour and then sleep in the night and I'm gonna be fine. And then I do that and I'm fine, right? The problem is now I have a baby, and if the baby is awake at 3, I'm gonna be awake. And then if you cannot sleep to fix your jet lag, even though like I'm fine with fixing it by myself, but if the baby keeps you awake, you're just kind of fucked. So yeah. You already leaked where you have been on vacation? I mean, yeah, I was in Japan. I even said it before I went. How confidently bull are you? Not very. I'm I'm kind of on the fence. I just have a position, and I'm like, I have a position from 58, and I'm like, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But I'm not convinced either way. I generally don't trust this market. I think if we go up, it's probably false breakout. If we go down, meh. No, not even sure if I trust that. Probably would want to fade it. It's more of the question to me whether like we go down and then range a bunch, or whether we go up and then fake out down. Do you have any high target? I guess below 100k for the cycle. Yeah, I mean 80, 90k seems like if we have like a little bit of a false breakout, seems kind of fun. So we range for like 6 months, finally break out to the upside, and you say we're gonna go back into the range. It's kind of how it feels like. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, and I'm not saying like I might change my mind once we break out, but that's kind of where my head's at right now. Isn't the long consolidation around prior all-time high like one of the most bullish scenarios possible? Not really, no. The most bullish outcome is just going up. And people always kind of look at the market and like, we're consolidating around all-time high, it's so good. The most bullish thing is just going up. Look through the history of Bitcoin. That's probably long, yeah. That was quite bullish. That was quite bullish. This was a little bit of a consolidation, but nothing in comparison to now. And if you take it like this, not really, and that was quite bullish. And that was quite bullish. And this is whatever the fuck, but it's not quite bullish. It's not bad. It's just, it's not even close to as bullish as it used to be. On what should I focus if I start trading? It depends. I think just generally really depends. So if you're starting out trading and you want to become good at trading, you don't really care about making too much money, just take it very slowly and don't risk too much and just take it easy. If you actually want to make a bunch of money, right? And I think like this is just true for almost every beginner. You should probably not be like trading anything serious. Like this is why memes were so hyped, because there's a bunch of memes. Like if you hit the right ones, you're gonna make a bunch of money. Like let's say you put $100 in the right meme, you can make 100,000 right out of it. If you're gonna put 100 in Bitcoin, no matter how good your timing is, there's a very low chance that you're ever gonna get to 100k. There's a very low chance that you lose that $100. And there's almost a guarantee that you're gonna lose your $100 if you buy like whatever meme. But if you're there to kind of make a bunch of money, that's kind of like you look for these kind of outsized opportunities, right? And they're a bunch, and we talk about them from time to time on the show when they come up, right? Ordinals was one of them. We had the memes, we had Solana season, like these kind of opportunities where you can make a bunch with very little come up. They don't come up too often though, and they come up like for a month or two. Like you have the opportunity to trade them for a month or two, maybe 3. But then you have to be really fast, at kind of spotting the opportunity, right? Like something new comes up, you need to kind of think about, like, does this have potential to kind of capture some mind share? And then you have to be all in that thing, like not with your money, but with your mind. Like research everything, know whatever you can know, use the stuff. And I think that is the best way to kind of make it in crypto. The only problem is, like, if you hit that $100 to 100K trade, or the multiple trades like that, like if you make your money, easy come, easy go. Like if you make your money that way. Whereas if you just trade your money up, you then have the skills to kind of keep your money, but making it to 100K is not going to happen with $100 that way, or like very, very hard. So it's kind of like you're kind of in a shitty situation either way. Like, but I think like as a beginner, it's better to take more risks, and but don't take the risk by buying some random garbage, right? Like literally, like something new comes up, something exciting comes up, you research that shit, you look into it, you actually learn about it as much as you can, and then you place your bet, right? Because you don't really have that many. Like if you fuck that up, and you're completely out of the market, and like it's also a really shitty situation to be in. So like do it proper, right? Like it's not just, oh, this dog coin is the one. It was basically, if you like, we had that whole meme season, and there was kind of like a time where it was pretty obvious that we're gonna have like a bunch of memes running, and then you can place these bets, right? Right now that is not the case on the meme front, but there might be other narratives that make sense, and that you can front run. So I think that's the better way to do it. Don, do you know if Osaka sold his account? His downfall is crazy after he became KOL. I haven't been on Twitter for a long time, so I have actually not seen any tweets from Osaka. I don't know the drama. But yeah, so memes, like the big ones, they're probably gonna be leveraged Bitcoin now. But yeah, I mean, there's no hate for the memes in me anymore. I had a lot. It was like, this has to stop. Now, like the market has been cleansed, so if it wants to run again, it can run again. How about turning 100K to 1K? Still possible, I guess. Always possible. Don't I short Bitcoin from 64.7K? How do I manage the trade? I mean, that's a good entry, no? I mean, there's no financial advice here, brother, but like if you shorted 64.7, right? That's this area here. Probably shorted it because like here's resistance, you ran into it. Okay. I mean, you wouldn't want to see a close above your entry, no? Like that'd be kind of shitty. Other than that, like if you're short, where would you wanna target? Well, I don't know. Like it's a weird spot. Like if you're short here and you're like this, like I shorted the highs, like maybe 61.5, but I don't know. Like this is a spot where I just don't know. I think above 64K again, you're kind of shit out of luck. Like at that point, you're probably gonna lose money. And then target wise, I just don't know. Like I'm not as bearish as that I just blindly short into into like the reason why I'm so I'm so like I don't know what to do with this trade is because basically like I mean this resistance has been tested a bunch, right? So if we test it one more time or two more times, you're probably gonna get completely blown out. And support wise, we do have a bunch like at 61.5 and 58k. But if those go, I mean you're in a really good spot. But I just don't like I don't know. I wouldn't want to bet on it. Like sometimes I'm looking at trades. I'm like, ah, yeah, there's an obvious trade here, an obvious invalidation in this case, or like an obvious target in this case. I just don't know. Don't wanna get you confused with my ideas when I look at the chart. I'm like, could go either way, could even chop. Don, what do you think about Telegram trends? Like Binance also launched its own game and token Telegram platform. I have no idea. I mean I haven't been here for 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on with Telegram. I know that Loomdarts keeps talking about Telegram stuff. He likes it. But it's beyond me. Sorry, bro. Do you think the Nasdaq and indexes are overpriced? Will we be going just up without any major pullback? Overpriced is like pretty hard thing to say. Like look at this, like the S&P, Nasdaq, whatever, doesn't really matter. Look at this. Is this overpriced? Probably, but does it really matter? Like look, it's not like this is crazy far from where it's been trading, right? Like this just seems like it. Like maybe it dips, but just from history and how it's been trading for a long time, you wouldn't necessarily expect it to stop. So like if you're fading this, you're fading pretty much the best market in history, which is really hard to do. Like you have to be really accurate. So I wouldn't necessarily want to. It's easier to bet on up on that than down. The euro has been going up. You guys remember when we used to have the show Weekly Open? Anyone remembers? And we talked about the dollar index, and I was like, and like Ledger asked me like, hey, like is this ever gonna stop? And I was like, yeah, here at like 113, and then it nuked, and then I said this is gonna just range in between these, and it's kind of has. I don't know how that's so accurate. Like how I don't know how it makes sense that like the fucking chart is respected on this, but it has been. It's a wild one. Bo says I liked Weekly Open. Yeah, it was good. Like I love Ledger. He's a legend. That was a good show. Just kind of like we can barely make this show happen. So it's kind of like was the one that just got axed, but it's good times. Do you think it keeps ranging? I actually don't know. Like I could also see it just break down, and then and then go range in here somewhere. What do you think of Sui Don? Crazy momentum? Yeah, I mean, chart looks decent. I remember a show called Casual Friday. Cred did promise me that he's gonna be back on Friday to do it with me. So fingers crossed that actually happens. Don, what do you think you could run 50k with just spot up to? I have no idea. Depends on the market. In this kind of market condition, I'll probably lose money. Depends on how the market like if you ask me that question at 20k, I'd be like I can giga run that up. At 60k, it's a different story. It's harder to say. And with the altcoins trading the way they are right now, it's hard to say. Like, people are always like, if you become a trader, just aim for this and that amount every day. And like, you guys are so full of shit. Like, this is not how it works, right? Like, people are like, oh, you just need to make 0.5 or 1% a day, and then you're gonna be rich by. And I'm like, just shut the fuck up. It's not how it works. Like, if you're a good trader, right? How your portfolio kind of, like, your portfolio value kind of looks like is this. And the reason why, right, is because you have a bunch of basically losses while you try to kind of find a good trade. And you have a bunch of kind of like trades where you're just wrong and you get out with a tiny loss or like a little bit of a loss. And then you hit the trade that you've been looking for, and that kind of carries you up a bunch. And then that happens over and over and over again. The people that are really bad at trading, their portfolio usually looks like this. And that's because they just cannot take the loss and then just get liquidated. Or, funnily enough, it looks like this, because they're just at the right time, in the right place. And then it does something like this, and it literally does the market cycle chart where it just fully retraces. So it really depends. I think there's a good chance that we're in this area where it's just a bunch of losing money looking for a trade. I have a decent entry on the stuff that I like on ETH and Bitcoin, where I'm like, okay, whatever. But I could see that just evaporate as well. Casual Friday is so casual, they stopped doing it. Yeah. When you met your wife and your parents for the first time, what did you tell them? What do you do for a living? I don't think they ever asked. I literally don't think they ever asked. I mean, my wife told them at some point, probably, maybe. But I made good enough of an impression that they didn't ask. How is Cred doing? Do you have any update about his family problems? Hope he's doing good. I mean, you gotta ask him that yourself, but he's doing okay, from what I know. Like, life's kind of sorting itself out right now, but yeah, he's had a stressful year. So we gotta be mindful of that. Cannot blame him too much for being absent. But from what I know, life's better. What did you tell your wife when you first met her? Hey, I'm a crypto trader. I also didn't tell her anything. Oh, I don't know. I was just like, here I am, and that was enough. Apparently, I was just like, yeah, literally don't know if we talked about it too much. Just was like, I'm self-employed, and that's it. And stuff with computer, basically. But yeah, that's that. That's how the market is looking right now. A little bit boring. High time frame looking good. Lower time frame looking, I mean, the weekly looking decent-ish. Daily looking decent-ish. Like, monthly looking good. Weekly looking okay. Daily looking okay to good. And then on the altcoin front, ETH boring. Solana is starting to look a little bit better than it has been. Like, that's decent chart. And everything else, just like the flavor of the month, whatever every influencer shitting is the stuff that's been going up, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's what it is. Okay, that's the tip, guys. Never tell your girl you do crypto. It's the red flag. I mean, at this point, it might be, yeah. Not a drug dealer, pharmaceutical technician. Exactly, guys. Exactly. That's what you have to do. I just have to call myself consultant. I consult people on the internet. And then there you go. Do you miss the title of Gate GCR? I mean, I still have it. But yeah, I think that's enough for today. I'm tired and I need to get to bed. But yeah, it was nice having you guys back. Nice to be back. Much love. We'll do Casual Friday. If we don't, I'll kind of just stream on Friday, I think. But I've promised, so that should be happening. But if not, like I said, I'll be like you'll hear from me on Friday no matter what happens. But I would prefer Casual Friday, so you don't have to listen to me ramble for an hour. But yeah, it's good to be back. Much love, and we'll hear each other soon-ish. Bye bye.